SpongeBob SquarePants is usually all about zany, happy-go-lucky vibes that make you grin like a kid in a candy store. But every now and then it throws a curveball that leaves your skin crawling. Enter Spongehenge, an episode so creepy it's like the show took a detour into the Twilight Zone. Is it just spooky for kicks, or is it trying to tell us something deeper? Let's dive into the eerie rabbit hole of Spongehenge, SpongeBob's creepiest episode, and figure out what's going on. It all kicks off on a cold, windy night in Bikini Bottom, where the residents are probably too busy flipping Krabby Patties to notice the wind tearing through town like it's late for a meeting. This isn't some gentle breeze. It's a gust so wild it rips takeout right out of a couple's hands as they leave a diner, sending their food flying like it's auditioning for a disaster movie. That same wind-slapped meal smacks SpongeBob right in the face, jolting him awake in his pineapple house. Now, most people would be out here cursing the wind or looking for who threw a burger at them, but not our boy SpongeBob. Ever the optimist, he pops out of bed, leans out his window and starts hollering for the food's owner like he's running a lost and found for wayward fries. Here's where things get straight up weird. As SpongeBob's shouting into the stormy night, the wind rushes through the holes in his spongy body, turning him into a living wind instrument. It creates this hollow, eerie sound, like someone playing a haunted flute made of Swiss cheese. If you're a SpongeBob fan, you know this is totally off the wall. The show's packed with goofy sound effects, from squeaky shoes to bubble pops. But wind whistling through SpongeBob's pores? That's a new level of bizarre. We can't think of a single other episode where his body doubles as a musical sponge. It's creepy, it's unsettling, and it's just the beginning. The jellyfish in Jellyfish Fields hear this spooky tune and lose their tiny minds. They swarm around SpongeBob like he's the underwater Pied Piper, following him with a creepy devotion that feels more like Cinderella with her birds than SpongeBob with his usual goofy charm. You'd think this weirdness would blow over by morning, right? Wrong. Those jellyfish are hooked. The next day, they're still trailing SpongeBob like a pack of obsessed groupies, blocking him from getting to his beloved job at the Krusty Krab. Mr. Krabs, being the money-grubbing crab he is, tries to reel SpongeBob in with a fishing line. Classic Krabs move. But the wind's getting crazier, like a full-on underwater hurricane. It's so powerful it blows the entire Krusty Krab away, like the diner's just a cardboard cutout in a storm. Let's call it what it is. This wind's no joke. It's a cyclone with a vendetta, tossing SpongeBob around like a soggy leaf in a blender. The storm sweeps him to Patrick's Rock, but don't expect a buddy cop rescue scene. When one of those jellyfish stings Patrick, our starfish pal doesn't even blink. He straight up kicks SpongeBob out, leaving him to fend for himself in the chaos. Talk about a friend who's got your back. Not. With nowhere else to turn, SpongeBob stumbles into a cave for shelter. Alone and frustrated, he starts venting to the rocks. And this is where things take a dark, creepy turn. He grows a full-on beard and a wild mane of hair, looking like an underwater Kenny Rogers, or a castaway who's been lost for years. Does SpongeBob shave every day to keep that clean-cut look, or has he been stuck in this cave for ages? The show doesn't spell it out, but the vibe screams he's been there way too long, devolving into a hermit with a serious case of the sads. In his loneliness, SpongeBob starts building a stone statue of himself, just to have someone, or something, to talk to. But here's the wild part. The wind blows through the statue's holes, mimicking that same eerie hollow sound his body made. The jellyfish come flocking back, buzzing around like they're hypnotized by the tune. Inspired, or maybe just unhinged, SpongeBob goes full-on artist mode, crafting a dozen more stone replicas of himself, arranged in a perfect circle like an underwater Stonehenge. That's where the episode gets its name, Spongehenge. It's a haunting sight, a ring of SpongeBob statues whistling in the wind, surrounded by jellyfish dancing like they're in a trance. For a hot second, you might think SpongeBob's got this under control. The jellyfish are obsessed with the statues, not him, so maybe he's free to go back to his life, right? Nope, not even close. This is where Spongehenge digs its claws into you. The usual SpongeBob magic, those goofy laughs, bouncy ukulele tunes, and bright, bubbly colors is completely gone. Instead, we're stuck with this eerie, whistling wind and a sense of dread that feels like it's snuck in from a horror flick. The statue's music isn't fun or quirky. It's downright unsettling, like something you'd hear in a haunted house. Bikini Bottom feels empty. The vibe is bleak, and SpongeBob's obsession with perfecting those statues feels wrong. He's so consumed with carving the perfect holes to make the perfect sound that he loses track of time. Maybe years. When he finally crawls out of that cave and heads back to Bikini Bottom, it's a total ghost town. The colorful, bustling town we know and love, wiped out. His friends, Patrick, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, long gone, and what's left are those creepy statues, still whistling their spooky tune, and the jellyfish dancing around them like they're stuck in a never-ending ritual. It's a gut-punch ending that leaves you staring at the screen, wondering what the heck you just watched. But Spongehenge isn't just creepy for the sake of it. It's got something to say. On the surface, it's about SpongeBob and his weird wind problem, but dig deeper and it's a chilling tale of obsession, isolation, and maybe even a descent into madness. SpongeBob pours his heart and soul into those statues, tweaking every hole to lure the jellyfish with the perfect sound. He's so wrapped up in it that he loses himself. His friends, his home, everything. Fast forward 3,000 years, and aliens are poking around the ruins of Bikini Bottom, gawking at the Spongehenge statues like tourists at the real Stonehenge in England. They have no clue who built them or why, only that they make this haunting music that draws jellyfish like moths to a flame. It's a spooky parallel to the real Stonehenge, where we still argue over whether it was for religious rituals, tracking the solstice, or something else entirely. Is Spongehenge saying something about leaving a legacy that's beautiful but misunderstood? Or is it a warning about what happens when you chase something too hard? Fans didn't exactly throw a parade for this episode. Some called it creepy, others found it downright depressing, and a few just shrugged and said it was nonsense. But as the SpongeBob audience grew, they started picking it apart, cooking up theories about what Spongehenge is really about. Let's dive into the big ones because they're wild and totally worth chewing on. First up, the Stonehenge theory. It's right there in the name, so it's hard to miss. The real Stonehenge is this ancient, mysterious pile of rocks in England that's been puzzling people for centuries. Was it a temple? A giant calendar? Nobody knows for sure, but it's a tourist magnet because of the mystery. In Spongehenge, 3,000 years pass and Bikini Bottom is long gone, replaced by aliens who stumble across SpongeBob statues. They're clueless about who made them or why, only that they pump out this solemn music that jellyfish can't resist. It's a dead ringer for how we view Stonehenge today, a relic of a lost world. Its purpose a big question mark. This theory's pretty straightforward, but it doesn't quite capture the episode's eerie vibe or why SpongeBob goes so far off the deep end. There's more to it, right? Then there's the idea that Spongehenge is just a big weird joke, a setup with no punchline. It starts with that goofy diner scene, with fish joking about the wind, but by the end, it's like Planet of the Apes crashed into Bikini Bottom, with ruins and aliens and no resolution. If it's a joke, where's the laugh? The bleak ending doesn't deliver the usual SpongeBob giggles, which leaves some fans feeling cheated. Another spin on this, Spongehenge, Season 5, Episode 99B, aired November 23, 2007, came at a turning point for the show. Some fans swear the quality dipped after Season 5, when key creatives like Steven Hillenburg stepped back as showrunner. He returned later for Seasons 9 through 12. Could this episode be their final creepy hurrah? A bold, weird story to bow out on? It's a juicy idea, especially since Spongehenge feels so different, but the show kept going for 11 more seasons and counting. So maybe it wasn't a goodbye after all. Still, the timing makes you wonder if the writers were flexing their creative muscles one last time. Now, let's get really weird with the faith theory. The episode opens with those diner fish joking about the wind, name-dropping Neptune and Poseidon, the Roman and Greek gods of the sea. Is this a clue? In SpongeBob, King Neptune is a big deal, a 5,000-year-old deity chilling in Atlantis with godlike powers, popping up in episodes like Neptune's Spatula, Season 1 in 2000. Poseidon, though, is a fresh name in Spongehenge. He doesn't show up until later in the non-canon SpongeBob, Creature from the Krusty Krab game, 2006, and SpongeBob on the Run in 2020, where he's more into bath bombs than smiting mortals. Could the wind be Neptune throwing a divine tantrum? Mad that Bikini Bottom forgot to worship him? Or maybe it's a cosmic cage match between Neptune and Poseidon, battling for control of the seas. This theory's got some holes though. Neptune's a major player in the show, but there's no sign he's got a grudge against Bikini Bottom. If he wanted worship, he could just roll into town with his trident and demand it. Why wreck everything with wind for 3,000 years? And a god-level feud lasting that long? Even the Greek titan Naumachie only dragged out for 10 years. Plus, SpongeBob isn't exactly Hercules. It's more about fry cook antics than mythic drama. So if the gods aren't behind the wind, who or what is? That's the creepy part. We're left in the dark, wondering what kind of force could do this. The most haunting theory of all? Spongehenge is about SpongeBob's descent into madness, driven by an all-consuming artistic obsession. Those statues become his whole world. His companions, his purpose, his version of Wilson the volleyball from Castaway. He talks to them, eats with them, and spends who knows how long carving perfect holes to make that jellyfish luring sound. Unlike Tom Hanks, SpongeBob's not stuck on a desert island. He's close to Bikini Bottom but chooses isolation, lost in his craft. This isn't new for him. In The Sponge Who Could Fly, Season 3 in 2003, he gets obsessed with flying like a jellyfish, chasing it so hard that his friends turn on him. They mock his success, only cheering when he crashes. It's a brutal lesson. Bikini Bottom loves SpongeBob when he's failing, not when he's shining. In Spongehenge, his talent for making music with his body and statues pushes him away again, leading to total isolation and a town in ruins. This obsession angle hits like a ton of bricks. SpongeBob's drive to perfect his statues mirrors artists who pour their souls into their work, losing everything else in the process. By the time he returns, Bikini Bottom is gone. His friends are history, and he's alone with his creations and those jellyfish. It's a stark warning about chasing perfection at the cost of connection. The aliens gawking at Spongehenge 3,000 years later only make it sadder. SpongeBob's legacy is a mystery, not a win. Is that what creeps us out? The idea that chasing your dreams too hard might leave you with nothing but a haunting echo?